This is the story of the forbidden tactic, the desperate plea that could have shattered the Union line. A plan so radical, Lee refused it. A mistake so costly, it doomed the Confederacy. What if I told you that the outcome of the Battle of Gettysburg, the pivotal moment of the American Civil War, could have depended on a lone, urgent warning? A warning that was dismissed, forgotten, and almost erased from history? Imagine this: July 2nd, 1863. A nation's destiny teeters on the edge. Amid the turmoil, one Confederate general spots a deadly weakness in the strategy, a hidden route to triumph that no one else will risk. Over a decade later, in a confidential letter, General John Bell Hood unveils the shocking truth, his desperate attempt to sound the alarm, and the defiant order that crushed it. Why was Hood's appeal ignored? What did he see that others overlooked? And how might this single choice have rewritten everything we understand about Gettysburg? Keep watching, because in this video, we're uncovering the secrets of Hood's 1875 letter, a revelation so explosive it shatters every assumption about America's deadliest battle. If you believe you know Gettysburg, prepare to reconsider. This is the story they tried to bury, and by the end, you'll doubt history itself. Let's begin, but first, don't forget to like and subscribe to support our community. When we reflect on the Battle of Gettysburg, certain names instantly spring to mind: Pickett, Hancock, Meade, McLaws, Longstreet. But today, our focus is on General John Bell Hood. His charge at Little Round Top remains one of the most critical moments of this historic clash. Hearing his own account of that decisive day, July 2nd, 1863, is crucial. Years later, in 1875, General James Longstreet, then alienated from many former Confederates due to his shifting political views, reached out to Hood. He sought Hood's perspective on Gettysburg. I want to share Hood's reply, a letter where he vividly describes his experience during the battle. I arrived with my staff at the heights of Gettysburg shortly after sunrise on the morning of July 2nd. As previously noted, my division moved into a nearby open field. There, the men stacked their arms and paused to rest while awaiting further orders. Just ahead, in the early hours of that morning, we had been engaged alongside Generals Lee and A.P. Hill, carefully studying the Union troop placements. General Lee, clad in his full uniform, coat fastened to his neck, saber belt cinched at his waist, paced steadily beneath the shade of the towering trees around us. His field glasses hung at his side, and he would pause periodically to study the Union positions through them. While his demeanor showed optimism, at times he grew distant, clearly wrestling with the difficulties before us. Not far off, the British observer Colonel Fremantle had climbed into the crook of a tree, his binoculars trained relentlessly on the Federal troops occupying the high ground. General Lee's impatience for an attack was evident that morning. "The enemy stands before us," he said to me, "and if we fail to strike him down, he will surely strike us down." Yet I maintained it would be more prudent to await Pickett's division, still marching toward us, before committing to action. As we sat together later beneath the broad branches of an oak, you confided in me. "The general appears unusually restless today. He presses me to attack, but I will not move without Pickett. I've always been cautious about engaging without full preparation, a philosophy I often expressed by saying, 'I refuse to go to battle, missing even a single boot.'" The morning passed slowly, heavy with tension and growing urgency, until at last the afternoon came. By 3 o'clock, with Pickett's men still distant, we formulated our strategy. We would mass our forces on the far right and prepare to assault along the Emmitsburg road. McLaws's division moved out first, with mine following close behind. Soon came the order to quicken our pace and pass McLaws's men. To facilitate our advance, I sent forward a detachment tasked with dismantling fences and clearing our path. My orders left no room for interpretation. I was to position my division along the Emmitsburg road, form lines of battle, and prepare to attack. However, before reaching the road, I took the initiative to send out my most reliable Texas scouts. Their mission was to locate the extreme left flank of the Union position. They returned quickly with crucial intelligence. The enemy's flank terminated at Round Top. The terrain was clear, they reported, allowing us to move through wooded pastures around the mountain and assault the Federal rear. They added that Union supply trains were massed vulnerably behind their lines, a perfect target for such a maneuver. When we finally reached the Emmetsburg Road, I wasted no time. I positioned 2 artillery batteries and opened fire, hoping to provoke a response that would reveal enemy positions. The Federal guns answered immediately, disclosing their locations. Their left flank indeed rested near Round Top, their lines curving inward in a concave formation as we advanced along the road. A strong forward element of their army had taken position ahead of the main line, deployed in battle formation on a slope near a peach orchard, squarely between the Emmetsburg Road and Round Top. I realized that to follow my orders and advance down the road, I would first need to engage and overcome this advanced defensive position. The perilous approach. The mountainside presented a nightmarish terrain, massive boulders piled haphazardly, creating narrow choke points that threatened to fracture our formations as we climbed. Worse still, my division would be fully exposed to murderous fire from the Union's main line crowning the heights, with Round Top securing their extreme left. The enemy's concave formation meant we'd face converging fire from front, flank, and rear simultaneously. I judged the assault nearly hopeless. No troops, however valiant, could scale those sheer cliffs under such concentrated fire and still dislodge the enemy. The cost would be unspeakable, even for the bravest soldiers ever to shoulder rifles. My Texas scouts' reconnaissance and my own assessment of Federal positions took mere minutes, though those moments remain seared in my memory as vividly as yesterday's sunrise. A commander's protest. These revelations came immediately upon reaching the Emmetsburg Road, compelling me to urgently warn against the planned attack. Through a staff officer, I begged permission to swing around Round Top and strike the enemy's vulnerable rear instead. The reply came swiftly. General Lee's orders are explicit. Advance up the Emmetsburg Road. Undeterred, I sent a second messenger emphasizing the near certainty of failure and renewing my flanking proposal. The response remained unchanged. As I maintained artillery pressure on Union positions, my conviction grew. Their line absolutely extended to Round Top. The Federal position appeared so naturally defensible that one might call it impregnable. They could repel us simply by rolling boulders downhill, even without their devastating crossfire. Final appeal. For the third time, I dispatched my finest officer, Adjutant General Colonel Harry Sellers, chosen for his courage and eloquence, to personally explain the suicidal nature of our orders and beg you to survey the ground yourself. Sellers returned with the same inflexible directive, reinforced moments later when Colonel Fairfax arrived to reiterate Lee's command. With this denial, the sole protest of my military career, I ordered the advance. As my men moved forward, you rode to my position. In our brief exchange, I voiced my grave misgivings once more, lamenting the lost opportunity to flank Round Top. You emphasized our duty to obey. The cost of obedience. My troops advanced into the maelstrom. Within 20 minutes of engaging at the peach orchard, a severe wound to my arm forced me from the field. As litter-bearers carried me through the smoke and chaos, my heart ached with terrible foreboding for my gallant men, the pride of that storied army, knowing what horrors awaited them in that doomed assault. A missed opportunity? I remain convinced that had I been allowed to flank Round Top, we would have seized that vital ground and driven the enemy from the field. With respect, I remain yours, J.B. Hood. John Bell Hood stands among the most compelling figures of the Civil War, a complex leader whose story demands deeper exploration. While his personal life warrants future examination, his assault at Gettysburg endures as one of the war's most pivotal moments. Devil's Den and Little Round Top, now hallowed ground, witnessed some of the conflict's most savage fighting. Close-quarters slaughter where men clashed over boulders and slopes, leaving the earth slick with blood. What makes Hood's account extraordinary is its perspective, penned over a decade after the war's end. Yet this delay raises questions. Can we trust his memory? Human recollection frays with time, details blur or vanish. Hood left no contemporary notes from 1863, leaving his letter to Longstreet as both a revelation and a historical puzzle. Still, his words offer something rare, the raw perspective of a general grappling with chaos and command. His vivid language, part frustration, part grief, paints an unflinching portrait of the horrors faced by his men. Tragically, Hood died in New Orleans just 4 years after writing this letter, his what-if forever unanswered. The enduring debate. Historians still wrestle with Hood's claims. Had his flanking maneuver been approved, could Gettysburg's outcome have shifted? Or was his plan a desperate gamble doomed by Union artillery and terrain? His letter forces us to confront the fog of war and the fragile line between legend and reality. What do you think? Was Hood's warning a lost chance for victory or hindsight's illusion? Share your thoughts below and join us as we keep unearthing history's untold battles.